The story of Dark Waters follows a young woman named Elizabeth who visits a mysterious convent on a small island where she was born to determine why her recently deceased father was donating money to the nuns there. While doing some amateur sleuthing, she is met by a woman named Sarah who is tasked with being her guide while she stays on the island. After Elizabeth is attacked and almost killed by one of the nuns, it becomes clear that something unnatural is happening at the convent. As Elizabeth unravels the mystery, which includes blind painters, thousands of candles, strange amulets, and odd local townsfolk, the evil within the convent is slowly revealed, as is Elizabeth's connection to it. This is one of the best horror films of the 1990s, and it's a shame that more people have not seen it. Believed to be the first film shot in Ukraine after the fall of the Soviet Union, Mariano Baino's Dark Waters, originally released at the tail end of 1993 but receiving a wider festival release in 1994, is one of the best Lovecraftian horror films around. Baino began reading Lovecraft when he was 13, and the stories became a big influence on this film. In particular, the religious zealotry of the nuns at the convent. Baino believes that what makes them such good villains is the fact that, much like cultists in Lovecraft stories, the nuns believe they are right even if their methods appear horrific to outsiders. Everything about this film oozes weird and surreal. From the introduction of Elizabeth, played by Louise Hunter, we see the characters surrounded by unusual individuals on a crowded bus. Baino stated that the idea was to throw Elizabeth into a world of madness from the very beginning. When the audience sees one individual and their pet spiders, it makes us uncomfortable from the beginning because we're not familiar with anything like this. There is no quote-unquote normal character for us to lean on. Everyone is odd. This extends to the speaking parts as well.
Tell you, go to that damp across the road, hire yourself a room, and next week I'll take you to the island.
Most of the actors could not speak any English and delivered their lines phonetically. It creates an almost ethereal, dreamlike quality to the village that she visits. It doesn't quite sound dubbed like you would expect a film like this to sound, but it doesn't sound quite right either.
Dad, I'm not scared of that. I'll take you. Tonight, now.
The actress playing Mother Superior was an 86-year-old woman who couldn't speak any English. Baino decided to have her not speak and use the translator to make it creepier. The old lady would fall asleep while shooting because she couldn't see anything out of the contact lenses and would get bored, and they'd have to wake her up for each shot. Louise Hunter herself was a last-minute addition to the cast, as the initial actress dropped out 2 weeks before filming after hiring an agent. And I think that unfamiliarity with the script and story comes across subconsciously in the film. Dark Waters trades primarily in incredible visuals. The sets, including the village and the castle exteriors, were all built by hand for the film by the set designer. Everything feels real and lived in. The amulet itself, beautifully recreated in the 2002 No Shame DVD release, was handcrafted by Baino himself. Pound for pound, this movie may have used the most candles of any horror film I've ever seen. One of the biggest problems making the movie was obtaining the amount of candles used in the film. They would cut the candles into 3 pieces, and then multiple people would run around before each shot and try to relight candles that had gone out. They could only shoot for a few minutes each day because the smoke created by the sheer amount of candles would choke the actors, especially in the caves. On the bright side, the incredible shots of the burning village were only possible because they built all the buildings themselves and were allowed to then burn them down. Baino has stated that the film was a nightmarish struggle to get completed. They could only shoot 3 to 5 hours per day for the first few weeks because the local crew would never show up until noon, and it would take so long to get the set dressed. The crew would take 3-hour lunches, and then just go home at 10 p.m. because it was late and they wanted to go to sleep. The cinematographer was apparently a total jerk and would show up whenever he wanted and force Baino to direct a ton of safety shots he knew he wouldn't use. He'd also tell the drivers not to pick up Baino from the hotel until 9:30 in the morning. This caused Baino to basically take over camera operating duties. The beautiful set with the blind painter had to be destroyed when it was found that other filmmakers were sneaking onto the set and using it without Baino's knowledge. The stuntman who performed the burn almost died because he got disoriented and did not know which direction the ocean was. Baino has stated that the only scene that did go perfectly was the ambitious opening church sequence, which is a sight to behold for such a low-budget movie. Baino used 5 different cameras to capture the angles he needed, and it was a one-time gag that just happened to work perfectly. Dark Waters is Baino's only true feature film, and he didn't make anything after this for over a decade. From what I've been able to glean from interviews, it appears he was waiting around for an offer to do another feature, feeling that doing another short film would be a step backwards in his career. That offer never came. Eventually, in 2004, he did another short and has been doing them ever since, packaging a few of them into a trilogy. It's sad that nobody has stepped up to finance a true feature for him, because Dark Waters is truly a dynamic film. The creepy, off-key synth score, the oddball characters, strange visuals, and rad Lovecraftian ending all make this a hidden gem that almost every horror fan will love when they see it. As of the date of this video, it is currently on Tubi, and I highly recommend turning out the lights some Saturday night, turning up the volume of your television, and settling in for a definite visual treat. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next time with a look at Boris Karloff in The Body Snatcher.